and dust. As they came through yet more doors at the further end, a sound of water fell upon their ears, and the grey light grew suddenly more full. "There is the birth of the running river," said Thorin. "From here it hastens to the gate. Let us follow it." Out of the dark opening in a wall of rock there issued a boiling water, and it flowed swirling in a narrow channel, carved and made straight and deep by the cunning of ancient hands. Beside it ran a stone-paved road, wide enough for many men abreast. Swiftly along this way they ran, and round the sweeping turn. And behold, before them stood the broad light of day. In front there rose a tall arch, still showing the fragments of old carven work within, worn and splintered and blackened though it was. A misty sun sent its pale light between the arms of the mountain, and beams of gold fell upon the pavement at the threshold. A whirl of bats, frightened from slumber by their smoking torches, flurried over them as they sprang forward, their feet splintered and slithered on stones, rubbed smooth and slimed by the passing of the dragon. Now before them the water fell noiselessly outward and foamed down toward the valley. They flung their pale torches to the ground and stood gazing out with dazzled eyes. They were coming to the front gate, and they were looking upon Dale. "Well," said Bilbo, "I never expected to be looking out of this door, and I never expected to be so pleased to see the sun again and to feel the wind in my face. But, this wind is cold." It was. A bitter easterly breeze blew with a threat of oncoming winter. It swirled over and around the arms of the mountain into the valley and sighed among the rocks. After their long time in the stewing depths of the dragon-haunted caverns, they shivered in the sun. Suddenly, Bilbo realized that he was not only tired, but also very hungry indeed. "It seems to be late morning," he said, "and so I suppose it's more or less breakfast time. Is there any breakfast to have? But I don't feel that Smaug's front doorstep is the safest place for a meal. Do let's go somewhere where we can sit quiet for a bit." "Quite right," said Balin, "and I think I know which way we should go. We ought to make for the old lookout post in the southwest corner of the mountain." "How far is that?" asked the hobbit. 5 hours' march, I should think. It'll be rough going. The road from the gate along the left edge of the stream seems all broken up. But look down there. The river loops suddenly east, across Dale, in front of the ruined tower. At that point there was once a bridge leading to steep stairs that climbed up the right bank, and so to a road running towards Ravenhill. There was, a path that left the road, and it climbed up to the post. It's a hard climb, too, even if the old steps are still there." "Oh, dear me," grumbled the hobbit. "More walking, more climbing, without breakfast. I wonder how many breakfasts and other meals we've missed inside the nasty, clockless, timeless hole." As a matter of fact, 2 nights and a day had gone by, and not altogether without food, since the dragon smashed the magic door, but Bilbo had quite lost count, and it might have been 1 night or a week of nights for all he could tell. "Come, come," said Thorin, laughing. His spirits had begun to rise, and he rattled the precious stones in his pockets. "Don't call my palace a nasty hole. You wait till it's been cleaned and redecorated." "That won't be till Smaug's dead," said Bilbo glumly. "In the meanwhile, where is he? I would give a good breakfast to know. Hope he's not up here on the mountain looking down at us." That idea disturbed the dwarves mightily, and they quickly decided that Bilbo and Balin were right. "Yeah, we must move away from here, quick," said Dori. "I feel as if eyes were on my back of my head, looking at me." It's a cold and lonesome place," said Bombur. "There may be drink, but I see no sign of food. A dragon would always be hungry in such parts." Come on," cried the others. "Let us follow Balin's path, then." Under the rocky wall to the right there was no path. So on they trudged among the stones on the left side of the river, and the emptiness and desolation soon sobered even Thorin again. The bridge that Balin had spoken of, they found it long fallen, and most of its stones were now only boulders in the shallow, noisy stream. But they forded the water without much difficulty, and found the ancient steps, and climbed the high bank. After going a short way, they struck the old road, and before long they came to a deep dell sheltered among the rocks. There they rested for a while and had such a breakfast as they could, chiefly cram and water. If you want to know what cram is, I can only say that I don't know the recipe. It's biscuitish, Keeps good indefinitely, is supposed to be sustaining, and is certainly not entertaining, being in fact very uninteresting except as a chewing exercise. It was made by the lakemen for long journeys. After that they went on again, and now the road struck westwards and left the river, and the great shoulder of the south-pointing mountain spur drew ever nearer. At length they reached the hill again. It scrambled steeply upwards, and they plodded slowly more behind the other, till at last, in the late afternoon, they came to the top of the ridge, and saw the wintry sun going downward to the west. Here they found a flat place, without a wall on 3 sides, but back to the north by the rocky face, in which there was an opening, like a door. From that door there was a wide view east and south and west. "Here," said Balin, "in the old days we used always to keep watchmen, and that door behind leads to a rock-hewn chamber that was made here as a guard-room. There were several places like it around the mountain, but there seemed small need for watching in the days of our prosperity, and the guards were made over-comfortable, perhaps. Otherwise we might have had longer warning of the coming of the dragon, and things might have been a bit different. Still, we can now lie hid and sheltered for a while, and can see much without being seen." "Not much use, if we've been seen coming here," said Dory, who was always looking up toward the sky above, and the mountain's peak, as if he expected to see Smaug perched there like a bird on a steeple. "We must take our chance of that," said Thorin. "We can go no further today." "Hear, hear!" cried Bilbo, and flung himself on the ground. In the rock chamber there would have been room for 100, and there was a small chamber further in, more removed from the cold outside. It was quite deserted. Not even wild animals seemed to have used it in all the days of Smaug's dominion. There they laid their burdens, and some threw themselves down at once and slept, but the others sat near the outer door and discussed their plans. In all their talk they came perpetually back to one thing. Where was Smaug? They looked west. There was nothing. East there was nothing, and in the south there was no sign of the dragon, but there was a gathering of very many birds. At that they gazed and wondered, but they were no nearer understanding it when the first cold stars began coming out.